Welcome to Daily Gossip. You will get daily Hollywood updates here. Remember to subscribe for the latest videos. What if your darkest secrets were finally exposed? Not by your enemies, but by your own children. What if the life you fought so hard to keep buried suddenly clawed its way back into the present, threatening everything you love? That's exactly what happened in the explosive Season 3 finale of Ginny Georgia, a show that started as a quirky mother-daughter dramedy, but has now evolved into one of the most emotionally chaotic, scandal-heavy, and nail-biting experiences Netflix has ever delivered. As the credits rolled on the Season 3 finale, fans were left stunned, devastated, and desperate for answers. Answers that only Season 4 can begin to provide. But before we look ahead, let's rewind and unpack the train wreck of secrets, lies, betrayals, and unbelievable twists that defined this latest season. At the center of it all, Georgia Miller, the charming, manipulative, loving, and dangerous matriarch who has spent her entire life covering up her past to protect her children. But in Season 3, her luck begins to unravel as she stands trial for the murder of Tom Fuller. Yes, the whispers are true. Georgia was actually put on trial for ending the life of a man in a coma, a decision she justified as an act of mercy, but one that ultimately spiraled into a legal and emotional nightmare. But in a shocking twist, her young son Austin, yes, her son, testifies in court, falsely claiming that his father Gil was the one who committed the murder. And here's the real kicker. This wasn't a spontaneous outburst. It was a calculated plan, orchestrated by none other than Ginny herself, the very daughter who spent 3 seasons grappling with her mother's lies and moral compromises. This moment changes everything. It's a perjury that could haunt them forever. Georgia walks free. But at what cost? The trial might be over, but the damage done to the family's emotional foundation is irreversible. What makes this even more harrowing is the fact that Ginny's decision to protect her mother mirrors everything she used to hate about Georgia. She's becoming her, slowly, painfully, and inevitably. And just when viewers thought the emotional toll couldn't get any worse, Ginny's own secret is revealed. An unplanned pregnancy, a devastating revelation that forces her to make one of the most adult decisions of her life. Unlike Georgia, who kept her own pregnancies and traumas locked in a vault of Southern charm and trauma-induced humor, Ginny chooses to terminate her pregnancy, highlighting the generational divide and the evolving nature of motherhood in the show. This scene is not only raw and vulnerable, it's also a subtle rebellion. Ginny is drawing a line in the sand, declaring that her life won't be defined by the same silence and sacrifice that shaped her mother's. It's one of the most powerful moments in the entire series. But it doesn't end there. In the final moments of the finale, viewers are hit with yet another curveball. Georgia is pregnant. Again. Yes! After everything she's endured, from covering up murders to manipulating courtrooms and battling ex-lovers, Georgia is once again facing motherhood. The signs are subtle. She's suddenly craving milk, a detail that fans know from previous seasons always hinted at pregnancy. The showrunners haven't confirmed it outright, but all signs point toward a major reveal in Season 4. And if that weren't enough, the father's identity is still a mystery, which means the drama is far from over. Who's the father? Is it Paul, Zion, or someone else entirely? Whoever it is, this pregnancy will change everything. And then, in perhaps one of the most uncomfortable yet haunting sequences of the finale, Georgia's estranged mother reappears, along with her creepy and abusive stepfather. These 2 figures from Georgia's traumatic childhood have returned, and their presence casts a long dark shadow over what little peace Georgia has built for herself and her family. Their re-emergence is not just a plot device. It's a harrowing reminder that no matter how far you run, your past always catches up with you. And now, with these toxic figures back in her life, Georgia must confront the abuse, manipulation, and abandonment she spent decades trying to suppress. Season 3 also gave us some much-needed development in Austen's character. The once quiet and quirky boy is growing into someone far more complex and potentially dangerous. His decision to lie under oath to protect Georgia wasn't just a kid being manipulated. It was a conscious choice, rooted in loyalty, trauma, and his desperate need to hold on to the only family he knows. Austen is no longer a passive background character. He's a ticking time bomb. And Season 4 is sure to explore how this young boy processes the emotional weight of having lied in court, having witnessed murder, and having absorbed the toxicity of every adult around him. Meanwhile, Marcus and Ginny's on-again, off-again relationship continues to twist and turn like an emotional roller coaster. While Marcus clearly still loves Ginny, and Ginny still cares for him deeply, their relationship has been strained by secrets, self-doubt, and mental health struggles. Marcus's depression, Ginny's fear of becoming her mother, and their inability to fully communicate set the stage for a possible tragic end. Or maybe, just maybe, the beginning of a more mature, honest partnership. Only time will tell. Season 3 also marked a turning point for Max, Ginny's once bubbly and chaotic best friend. After dealing with heartbreak and feeling sidelined, Max starts to redefine herself, pursuing a new romantic interest and showing emotional growth that many fans had been hoping to see since Season 1. But with all this growth comes vulnerability. Will Max finally find someone who values her for who she is? Or will she fall back into old patterns of toxic dependency and codependency? As for Zion, George's former flame and Ginny's biological father, he continues to be the calm in the storm, offering stability, wisdom, and patience in a world that rarely gives him peace. But even Zion is starting to crack under the pressure. The lies, the chaos, the pain, it's all adding up. And the return of George's past may finally force Zion to confront not just his feelings for her, but his responsibility toward Ginny and Austen. Is he ready to be more than just the cool dad? Is he willing to stand up to the darkness that George's past has unearthed? And let's not forget Paul, the man who married Georgia. Despite knowing she wasn't perfect, Paul begins to question everything he thought he knew. Now that he's aware of Georgia's many secrets, including her capacity for murder, his moral compass begins to wobble. Can he really stay with someone who is capable of such horrifying decisions? And if Georgia is pregnant, is Paul prepared to raise a child in a household built on lies, manipulation, and generational trauma? Season 4 is expected to blow the roof off of all these unresolved storylines. With Georgia's trial over, the consequences of that courtroom deception are only just beginning. What will happen if someone discovers that Austen lied under oath? Will Ginny confess? Will Georgia finally be held accountable, not just by the law, but by her own children? Then there's the lingering question of Georgia's pregnancy. If she is indeed expecting another child, how will that affect her already strained relationship with Ginny? Will Ginny resent her for bringing another life into their chaotic world? Or will this new baby be a chance for healing and redemption? The stakes have never been higher, and with the return of George's abusive stepfather, fans are bracing themselves for a possible storyline that dives deep into trauma recovery, revenge, and possibly more violence. Will Georgia finally stand up to him once and for all? Or will she be pulled back into the cycle of fear and submission that has haunted her since childhood. The writing in Season 3 has been praised for its emotional depth and moral complexity. Gone are the easy answers and tidy resolutions. In their place, we find messy truths, flawed characters, and difficult choices. The show doesn't ask you to love Georgia, but it dares you to understand her. And that's what makes Ginny and Georgia so powerful. It's not just about secrets and scandals. It's about survival, legacy, and the haunting question of whether we are doomed to become our parents or capable of forging a different path. With Netflix confirming Season 4, fans can expect even more darkness, redemption, love, and heartbreak. The creative team has hinted that major character deaths, shocking betrayals, and irreversible choices are on the horizon. In other words, no one is safe. As we look ahead, one thing is clear. Ginny and Georgia has grown from a teen drama into a full-blown psychological epic about family, trauma, and the price we pay for love. And as long as Georgia Miller is walking free, the world around her will never be calm. So buckle up, gossip lovers, because Season 4 promises to be the most emotionally intense chapter yet. From pregnancy twist to courtroom fallout, childhood trauma to evolving romance, the upcoming season will test every character's limits and leave us all questioning what it really means to protect the ones you love. Will Ginny find peace? Will Austin unravel? Will Georgia finally face justice? Or will she continue to outsmart the world with a smile on her face and a secret in her heart? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. In the world of Ginny and Georgia, the truth is never the end. It's just the beginning.